Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel where today we are going to be looking at my January TBR, or everything that I plan to read in the month of January. Now, I am going to show you a lot of books on this TBR, but there's really only two that I really have to read, or like I'm going to be prioritizing. Everything else is kind of like I would like to read them, but I don't know if I'm going to get to them. But let's go ahead and start with the very first book that is like I'm going to be prioritizing this. And that is The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, which is an adult epic fantasy standalone. So I can't remember the description, and honestly, reading the description of epic fantasy stories is frequently useless. Like, they can't tell you much of anything in it. But I have heard a lot of good things. I know that there's definitely some critiques of this book, and there's a section of people who think it should have been broken up into multiple books, which I would completely understand because this is 800 pages. But I have heard mostly positive things, and every time I watch a review, I just keep thinking, like, I think I might actually like that. And so I am going to go ahead and give it a try. This is also a book I'm reading for a book club that I'm part of, which is why I am prioritizing it. But it is a chunker, and that is also why I'm unsure if I will be able to get to anything else. But the other book that I do actually have to get to is The Sword of Summer by Rick Riordan. This is the first book in the Magnus Chase series, which is a YA, maybe middle grade, fantasy series where we're following Magnus Chase, who is living on the street, and like after he was sent on the run by his mother, but his uncle Rudolph, I think, Randolph. My bad. Uncle Randolph manages to track him down and is like spouting off about like Norse mythology and like the family business of sorts, I believe. But and trying to draw Magnus into this world. I have never read a Rick Riordan book, so this is going to be something very, very new. I know a lot of people love him, and my older child loves it as well. This is the book they picked out for me to read in January, and so I'm actually excited about this one to see if I like Rick Riordan's writing. So those are the two books, but this is also a chunker. This is almost 500 pages. Again, this is why like I'm putting those two are my priorities, and everything else is just if I can make time. But the first book that is under the If I Can Make Time is To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers. This is an adult science fiction novella, and essentially in this world, instead of terraforming planets to go live, people have learned how to basically terraform their bodies, so that they can survive what would otherwise be toxic conditions. Our main character of Ariadne is a crew member that is like on a ship that goes and does these explorations. And so she spends a lot of time unconscious as like her body is being made over to be able to survive these conditions. And it means that Earth kind of goes on without them. And she has feelings about this and is, I think, trying to deal with them in this particular novella. I am very excited. I have never read Becky Chambers, but everything I've heard about Becky Chambers says that makes me think that I am probably going to really enjoy their writing. And so, if I really want to get to this, just because this sounds so interesting, because I think I'm going to like Becky Chambers. So even though this is not necessarily my priority, it probably will appear in January. And then another one that probably will appear, even though it's not my priority, is Where the Drowned Girls Go by Shauna Maguire, which is the 7th book in the Wayward Children series. So I do have this on pre-order, so to some extent it's going to depend on like when it gets to me, but I am hopeful that it will get to me fairly quickly. But the Wayward Children series is a portal fantasy series, which is a crossover. It could be read by young adults or adults pretty easily. And essentially, we're following the kids that live in Miss Eleanor West's School for Wayward Children. And essentially, everybody there has gone through a portal to another world and for some reason come back. And Miss Eleanor West is there to help support them as they learn how to like reintegrate into this world. Now with this seventh book, I don't entirely know what it's about. I believe we're following our main character of Cora, and I think that Cora off is sent off to a sister school, which is maybe not as loving and supportive as Miss Eleanor West's school is. And so I am so pumped to see what this school is like, because I've known that it's existed for a long time and I've always been curious. And I really love Cora, so I'm very excited to see what adventures she gets up to in this particular book. And then next we have Radiance by Catherine M. Valente. This is, I believe, is adult, but the description from Goodreads, just the first little paragraph is, Radiance is a deco-punk pulp science fiction alt history space opera mystery set in a Hollywood and solar system very different from our own. And like, that's all I could ever make through with the description. Like, I did actually read the full description. I was like, yeah, this actually sounds great. But honestly, that like, it sounds like every genre was thrown in a blender and like, out came this book. And I'm actually very, very intrigued. Just kind of how it all works. So I'm going to give it a try. I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm going to give it a try. And then the last two books are Warcross and Wildcard by Marie Lu. And so this is a young adult science fiction duology, and we're following our main character of Emika Chen, who hacks into this, I think, virtual reality-ish type game, Warcross, and she is a bounty hunter that tracks down people who are illegally betting on this game. And then there's a glitch that happens and the spotlight is put onto her. And instead of getting kicked out of the game, she is actually recruited to be a spy within the game. And the story kind of goes from there. This has been on my Goodreads TBR for a very long time, and so I think it's time. I think it's time that I finally give this one a shot. I'm really excited about it. It sounds like it could be very, very interesting. And obviously, by the way, if I read Warcross and I don't like it, I'm not gonna read Wildcard either. But if I like it, I will try to read both, because I really have been enjoying reading duologies and trilogies like all at the same time. It's just far more enjoyable, because honestly the storylines are generally intended to be read as one storyline. So yes, both of these books are on my TBR for January. But that is it. It is it's so many books. It feels like so many books, and I don't know if I'm going to get to them all, but I'm going to try my best. But that is it. So if you have any thoughts or feelings about any of the books that I talked about in this video, please leave me a comment down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. And until next time, have happy reading, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!